What's up everyone, Talon from the Airsoft headquarters here, and welcome back. So I know we went on a little bit of a hiatus, which is a little bit there. Things did get very crazy as far as Black Friday, Thanksgiving, as well as trying to get everything prepared for Christmas season and the New Year. So hopefully I've gotten to a point where hopefully I can take a little bit of break to do some more video work. Since I do stuff on advertising, social media, stuff like that, don't want to bore you too much, but I have been a little bit bogged down with the holiday seasons. Anyway, so we're gonna try to get back onto track. Before we do, let you guys know that on Christmas Eve, we're gonna be open 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. So if anyone wants to get their Christmas shopping done at the very last second, we're gonna be open early, but we are gonna close a little earlier as well. So from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. we will be open for last minute shopping. Christmas Day, we're gonna be closed, so we're gonna be with family and just relaxing and taking the holiday like everyone else. And then right back following Christmas, which is going to be a Saturday, we're gonna be reopening to our normal schedule, which is 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and then completely normal Sunday, and then Monday, Tuesday, etc. So just so you guys know, we do have that schedule. Which, by the way, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to anyone if I don't see you into the store here. Wishing everyone a happy and hopefully not nearly as shitty 2021. So today we're going to try to bring in some of the more cooler type of rifle replicas right now. You've probably seen a model of these floating around social media as far as some of the new cooler stuff from G&G. And that's going to be the G&G, what do they call it? The CMF-16, which if you guys have not seen close up, this is a 416 clone, and this is the K model, which does mean that it does have the short PDW style of stock. So we do have the K variant. We're currently out of stock of the SOP mod style, which has the, the SOP mod style of stock, which as you can see right here, we do have those on back order. Right now we do have the polymer body CMF-16. Okay, yes, I want to make sure that's what it is. We do have these available still. Anyway, we're not doing a video on this just yet. We're going to be talking about the GC1-46. Did I say that right? The GC1-46. Now, the biggest thing about these is that these kind of look a little familiar. If you guys are familiar with some of the more iconic 416 style of rifles, these are going to be very similar in platform style to the 416s. Now, the 416s are going to be an HK licensed rifle, while these do not have the HK license. They are externally very, very similar as far as build. Now, we're going to be talking about these specifically, which are going to be coming from the GC series. Now, the GC series from G&G is going to feature an all-metal receiver set as far as the upper and lower. In some cases, like this one specifically, does have a polymer handguard. For the majority of time, they are going to be a metal handguard as well. The other one that I had previously, this guy, is the CM-16, or the CM series of rifle, which refers to the fact that it is a polymer body for upper and lower receiver. And again, we'll do a further in-depth video of that guy, but today we're focusing on this. Now, this is not a 416, so no one should be searching it as a G&G 416, nor should it really be called a 416, but for simplicity's sake, I'm going to be referring it to a 416, just so everyone knows. It's not searchable and nor can it be advertised as a 416, but in reference, everyone knows it's like a 416 body, so I'm just gonna keep it simple, Anyway, so the G&G 416 that we have here is going to be a metal body, polymer handguard, polymer stock, polymer grip, and all metal internals. What is unique about this, even though it is the GC series, which refers to the metal body, like I said before, it also features some of the electric blowback series, which, if I remember correctly, is the GF series, which have been kind of discontinued from G&G. We'll talk about that in a second, but what it does is it just It's more of a selling gimmick. It doesn't actually give anything as far as a recoil feeling, as far as a kinetic energy back into your shoulder, nor does it sound like an true electric blowback. Here's a little clip of me shooting it on semi and then full auto, so you can see that the imitation bolt cover does move back and forth a little bit, not nearly enough to really sell it as a electric blowback rifle, but it is there. And so there's kind of a reason why G&G has somewhat discontinued that series, which is still fine. They're still awesome. They're still a great overall platform, especially this rifle right here. It is an all metal receiver, so it is very, very durable. It is very resilient when it comes to any type of abuse, or if you're a little bit clumsier and you fall down a couple more times, this body will hold up very, very well. And a lot of people kind of give some of the companies a bad rap for having polymer bodies or polymer handguards, but G&G has been around for a very, very long time. And they've been making polymer accessories or externals and rail systems for a very long time, and they know what they're doing. These are going to be a nylon fiber reinforced polymer, so they do hold up very, very well. I have seen some very strenuous stress tests on the bodies and the rail systems, and they do hold up very, very, very well. Regardless of whether you're a beginner player or someone who is a little bit more experienced, these are going to hold up very, very well. Starting towards, we'll just get right into it. Starting towards the tip, this is going to be your federally mandated bright orange tip. Going somewhat back, that is going to be a metal gas block, or excuse me, a polymer gas block that does have ambidextrous sling points that you can attach your sling to. There is a bayonet attachment point, which there really is no need for, since no one should be running bayonets. At least it looks like it's a bayonet locking block right there. Going back, that is going to be the polymer handguard. Like I said, obviously, what's unique about this polymer handguard is that it is going to be more of a streamline. I don't know exactly what type of rail system they were copying here or were using as influence, but the very top of the rail system is going to be a Picatinny rail segment, and then included are 3 different rail segments that can be bolted onto the rail system itself. It is going to use bolts. This is not M-LOK. You have to take the screws out, and they are lined specifically to this rail system here, and they use just bolts to go directly into the handguard itself. Now, this could be a positive and negative thing. It is positive because it does make sure that everything is lined up exactly where it needs to be, and it does make sure that everything is really tightened and bolted down, because you don't have that other side, that washer, the spacer that locks on inside there. That's not another piece that has to be lost. The negative thing is that if you are possibly doing anything that's, super strenuous, if you have like a foregrip on here and you take a really hard tumble and that foregrip hits a corner and snaps off, it could possibly rip the bolts out from those polymer threads. Possibly. I don't know, I haven't seen it, but I'm just saying that is something that could be of a concern. However, as long as you're not doing anything like super strenuous, like G&G makes some really good polymer, and it looks like it's done really, really well. So I'm assuming if you just dropped it onto a corner, that's not going to be an issue. But if you're just constantly beating against a corner, that's probably going to strip those threads out sooner or later. Just a heads up there. Also on the polymer handguard is going to be an ambidextrous sling point that can be removed and put either onto the left side or the right side, which is very unique for anyone that's going to be ambidextrous as far as their sling placement. What is also unique with the 416 style of bodies is that the upper receiver has a female cut of tang, while the rail system has a male cut of tang, which means that there is a insert about I would say a little over 1/4 of an inch that holds together. So the handguard protrudes into the upper receiver, and so that holds it in place and holds it tight. As the polymer handguard, if I do this and if I do this over time, it's not going to loosen up. It is going to hold in there and hold tight. so it can't possibly move. I know that's a issue with some people that come into the store, is they try to crank and move the handguard as much as possible. With these 416 style of handguards, that is not going to be an issue. Going back, we do have the metal 416 upper and like a general M4 lower. What's unique about the 416 style of upper is on the very back of the upper receiver here, right behind that iron, there is a slight divot upwards. It does raise the top Picatinny rail system by about 1/4 of an inch, which is not something that a lot of people recognize right away, unless one of us here at the store does point it out, that the 416 styles do technically have a riser built into them, which is unique. On top of that top Picatinny rail segment is going to be, you know, your iron sights that come with them. And these are going to be a traditional style of 416 iron sights. Circle, open circle with a post for the front iron sight. And then the rear is going to be a rotating dial that does have different sizes of apertures for different lighting environments. So you have quite a bit of customization there, but honestly, the iron sights are one of the first things to get changed out for any type of red dot or maybe even a zoom type of optic. The receiver itself is going to be a right hand based operation, which means there is nothing as far as ambidextrous controls, which is a little weird that they offer the ambidextrous sling points, but they don't offer the ambidextrous selector switches or magazine releases or whatever. So everything is going to be on the right side. A imitation bolt release that does nothing. You have safe, semi, and full auto, and you have the magazine release, as well as on the side here you do have your GC for Combat Machine Series, G&G Armament Intermediate Series made in Taiwan with a individual serial number. Going down is going to be an ergonomic style of polymer grip. This is going to be a little weird. It does take a little bit of getting used to as far as that feeling right there. It is going to be ambidextrous cut as well. I know some of the ergonomic grips are going to be for right-hand shooters only. This one is ambidextrous, so if you are left-handed, that does feel comfortable. If you're used to like the SOP mod style of stock that honestly is somewhat shown right here, this is a more universal type of grip because it is flat and it doesn't offer any type of grooves for you to slide your fingers in, so anyone can hold it however they want, versus this one, your fingers have to sit inside of the grooves, which could be something that people like and some people do not. I see that go both ways. At the very top of the receiver is going to be your charging handle, which has no real function as far as an AEG other than to open that dust cover, pull the imitation bolt back to reveal your hop-up unit. That is going to be the old school style of hop-up unit, and I will be showing you that exactly that outside of the receiver in just a second. Going back is going to be the polymer 6-position stock that does sit on the buffer tube here. You stuck? You are stuck. Your battery compartment space is going to be in the very back here. Very traditional of G&G rifles to have those tabs there that you need to press. You have the very back plate. This, whoop, got it. That weird triangle piece. They also, on this one at least, do not include the weird battery insert things that a lot of people just throw out. It doesn't really do anything. It's supposed to stabilize it, the battery inside of there, but it's more of a pain in the butt than it actually is a positive thing, so just throw it out. It doesn't really do anything. And in the very back here is going to be a fuse system with the mini Tamiya connector. Now this is not going to be LiPo ready, this model specifically, so you should not be running LiPos. You should be running a 9.6 volt nickel metal hydride unless you have a MOSFET system installed on it, and then you can run LiPos. Anyway, to show you some of the internals, I'm going to use the black coloration, which I have just removed the upper off of this, didn't do anything as far as crazy modifications. So this is going to show you the electric blowback gearbox as far as what it would look like. So what there is there's a little hole that sits inside of that cylinder right about here. And so as the piston itself comes forward to compress the volume of air that is inside of the gearbox, part of that air volume shoots its way upward into this chamber here, and that is what blows back, blows the piston backwards, which moves this entire dust cover backwards as it's fired. So what it does is it changes the amount of air volume that goes behind the BB, so it results in a lower velocity. And because so much air, or so little air, excuse me, is pushing this back, it only moves just a little bit. So what you could do if you really wanted to, you want to change this out. It is a version 2 gearbox, so you could get the G&G gearbox, you know, either one of this, any one of the series, and you can install that in here, or you could just leave the electric blowback unit and you could possibly put some putty or piece of rubber inside of that hole in order to get more air volume going behind that BB, resulting in a higher velocity and disabling your electric blowback feature entirely. That is something that is up to you as a consumer as to what you want to do as far as modification to your rifle. The hop-up unit is like this. So what this is a inner barrel. It is a 6.08, I believe. I can't really find anywhere to really say for sure that it is a 6.08. I know that there are some sites and some forums that say it is a 6.05, 6.11 for some reason. But if memory serves me correctly, this is a 6.08. It is not a steel inner barrel, despite the fact that it looks like it. This is, I think, a brass that has a coat over it, and it uses the older style of a hop-up unit. I don't know exactly what these are called, excuse me, but there are rotary style hop-up units that are available in order to upgrade your hop-up unit. While these are fine and they work, a rotary style of hop-up unit will allow you to be more consistent and more accurate at greater distances. Especially since over time, these hop-up units can loosen up a little bit to where those BBs are losing hop-up and they're dropping. With the rotary style of hop-up units, the way that they apply pressure, they don't loosen up nearly as quickly. So overall, upgrading your hop-up unit for sure is one of the first 3 things you should be looking at, as well as your inner barrel. So when I say upgrade hop-up unit, you should also probably upgrade your inner barrel. Pro tip, for Wisconsin weather, upgrade to a stainless steel of inner barrel. Steel overall is going to have less fluctuation as far as movement due to extreme colds or extreme heat, since Wisconsin or any of the northern states does have some pretty extreme fluctuations. So upgrading to a stainless steel will improve your accuracy and consistency. Has been tested, has been done. So, suggested battery is going to be a 9.6 volt nickel metal hydride. The gearbox is a version 2 G&G gearbox. Type of connector is a mini Tamiya, just wrapping off those internal parts. The velocity is going to be actually a very, very consistent 333 to 339. Now I don't have the footage to show that, but that is one of the small notes that I did put here. So there is a fluctuation of only 6 FPS. That is really good considering the fact that some of that volume of air is being used in order to put that imitation bolt backwards. So very, very, very consistent on G&G's part, which is super solid. I really like how consistent that is. That is more consistent than a lot of other rifles. Totally forgot that part. The weight of one of these is going to be just shy of 6 pounds, 5 pounds, 14 ounces, I think is what this guy clocked in at. There are some internal notes that I need to take note of. Nothing as far as any type of special internal parts or upgrades. It's just a unique style of rifle that traditionally the 416 style only has one license holder, which is Umarex. So the official licensed 416 replicas are only available from Elite Force or Umarex. So it's definitely unique, that we have something that is similar to a 416, that is unlicensed, that is sitting, you know, below those Elite Force 416 prices. These are currently at my store $299, cheaper than some of the other websites I know of. And so that is what we have the black and the tan coloration available for. We also have the 416 in a quad rail or quad Picatinny rail type of variant. And obviously I showed you the CM 416, which is $260, and currently only have that crane stock option. As far as accuracy with this type of inner barrel, I did have footage again of doing a shooting test. I took a lot of rifles down to the arena in order to do a testing review, because I knew once I had time I'd be able to do these videos, but I don't know where that video went, so you're gonna have to forgive me. So if you guys don't know, we do 5 total shots at 25 feet, 50 feet, and 100 feet. So the first 5 shots aiming at the head at 25 feet impacted within a 3-inch diameter. You know, I'm just estimating 3 inches. So don't quote me 100%, which is, you know, very, very good that it is that consistent. Going out to 50 feet, those grouping of 5 shots did range out towards that 7-inch grouping. 4 of those shots did get closer together, and we did have 1 slight fly away. You know, that is a tight enough grouping that at any type of indoor field, that would be a pretty good grouping size in order to hit like an elbow that's sticking out from a corner, or a knee or something like that. And then stepping this back out to 100 feet, again, another 5 shots. We had 5 total impacts on paper. 2 of them hit the human profile, and that's 1, 2 right here, and then 3, 4, 5. So they all hit the paper. I mean, the paper itself is profiled at a human-sized torso. However, looking at the profile size of, you know, the human silhouette, that's probably about the silhouette size at 100 feet. So overall, you know, using the iron sights, I do need to clarify that I wasn't using any type of optic system. This is completely stock configuration. So do allow for a little bit of leeway when it does come to shooter, which was myself. So we did have a little bit of an issue at 100 feet using 0.25s, if I recall correctly. So overall, I would have to say at 330 feet, firing at 0.25, that's pretty decent, especially with some of those older internal parts that are coming from the original GC series of rifles. That's still really, really good results. Of course, those can be tightened up if you did upgrade to a tighter bore inner barrel, as well as going with a rotary style of pop-up unit. Obviously, things can change, things can be upgraded, etc., etc., etc. Overall, I think that this is a really great starting platform. Compared to those of the prices of the licensed 416s, this is certainly a great and viable option. So for someone that wants a fairly inexpensive replica that they can do any type of replica kit with, and it is a basic internal setup, and so they do have a lot of room as far as customizing any type of internal configuration. You know, if you want to do something that was more mil spec as far as real rate of fire on full auto, rate of fire on semi, that type of look, you have full range to do that. Or if you want to do something like a high rate of fire build, like a DSG or even a 16:1 gear set, high rate of fire motor, that is something that could be easily done as well. The Elite Force 416A5, or the Umarex Elite Force 416A5, or 416 series, excuse me, have those Avalon internal parts, which the gearbox by itself, I think was retailing $100, $120, which factoring that into the cost of the rifle, those are some pretty expensive parts that would have to get scrapped if the intention was to take that 416 rifle and change those internal parts to the more realistic fire rate, or going with a high rate of fire build. So if you wanted to start at a lower cost, this is certainly a great option. Factoring in the metal receiver, which is going to be, you know, the bulk of where that pressure would be, or some of that, you know, resilience if you are doing something that's more stressful. The polymer is fairly inexpensive and can be swapped out if you wanted to put, you know, a metal rail system or a different type of grip, or even a different stock. You know, this is a fairly inexpensive build in order to do full customization. For $300, you know, for the results that were given, this is a really, really good setup. You know, going back to out of 10 stars, what would I give this? I would have to give this a 8 out of 10. This is not something that I have fielded, but from what I have seen as far as doing the accuracy tests, a little bit of shooting around to get that hop up dialed in, as well as doing the chronograph testing, for just that little bit, I was very, very impressed. This is probably something that should be considered for any type of Christmas present, birthday present, or if you have any type of spare cash from Christmas, from grandma, grandpa, mom, dad, aunt and uncle, etc. This could be something to add to collection. You know, especially if you're a collector yourself and you want to get, you know, a lot of those iconic builds going, this is a very inexpensive way to go, you know, compared to that of the Elite Force Umarex 416. And of course, we have some even more budget-oriented 416 clones that are coming from G&G, not nearly as closely resembling due to the lack of cut here, you know, not the same type of stock setup, but using that same rail system that is coming with the GC series. So very unique that they kept that in order to keep cost factors low. Do appreciate that. Also, these use the more modern G&G iron sights. Cool. That's another video. I did intend on doing a video on this guy anyway, once the full-size version came available here again. But anyway, that was my thought on the G&G 1-46. Yes, the GC1-46. I'm going to put that up right here again. Let me know down in the comment section what your thoughts are. Is this something you would run or something that you would recommend yourself? I'd be curious to see what you guys think. If you guys have any further questions, put them down in the comment section below. Consider subscribing, leaving a like for the YouTube algorithm. And of course, thanks for watching to the end of the video. You guys take care, stay safe, stay positive, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.